Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. I hope you have been enjoying your day, and we're going to be taking a look at the latest for Invest 97L, which is that disturbance in the Central Caribbean. We'll be talking about it as well as that trough of low pressure, which is inducing some periods of heavy rain across portions of the Northern Caribbean islands. And we'll also be looking at the latest forecast from the Climate Prediction Center. So let's get on with it, and we're kickstarting things looking at the vicinity of the South Caribbean and Northern South America. We can see that there's a lot of moisture across these various areas, portions of Central America, Nicaragua, headed through to Panama, as well as for Colombia, Venezuela, and some spots in the Guyanas. Also for Trinidad, earlier there was some thunderstorm activity nearby. For the ABC Islands, we're seeing that again there's a lot of moisture, so some periods of some rainfall activity. Let's move further up north. Here we can see all of this, which is in association with Invest 97. We'll be talking more about it in a moment. And then what we see here, all this activity is in association with that trough of low pressure, which is inducing some rainfall. And there's likely to be some additional rainfall activity for some areas as we head through the latter part of this week. So across various areas in Jamaica, but especially for eastern parishes, there could be some additional rainfall. And we know that those periods of heavy rainfall can trigger flooding and even landslides across some areas, especially in eastern Jamaica, which has been rattled by that quake earlier this week on Monday. The soil is very loose across some areas, so rain on top of that will actually add more weight to the soil and all that debris, and actually make it a lot easier for landslides to take place. So that is a hazard right there. So let's move on to this surface chart here, and there we can see, not very clearly, but we can see that first L, that is for Invest 97L. It's an area of low pressure. And then that other one, which is just in the vicinity of Jamaica, we can see that broken orange line extended out. That is the trough. And then that blue line with those triangles indicates that cold front. So there's a front moving down, and there is some dry air behind that boundary. So this will help to induce some dry, stable weather across some areas. And even as I speak about that, let's look at this map here. There we can see it. So all of that dry air is represented by the shades of yellows, oranges, reds, and we can see just that the boundary of the front is just within this area. So again, behind that boundary is a mass of cool, dry air. And then as we look over into some eastern islands, especially northeastern islands, we can see that there is some dry air setting in, which is the reason much isn't going on right now. So conditions are a bit more on the stable side for the eastern islands of the Caribbean. Over in Central America, there is some activity across some other areas, some of which is being induced by Tropical Storm Pilar over there, which is going to continue to move out, and it has weakened slightly. Winds are down from 60 to 50 miles per hour, being sustained at the maximum. Let's now head on to Invest 97L, and here we can see that the formation chance has decreased yet again. So that that chance is down to 40%, and that low pressure area is to the south of Haiti. So it will continue mostly toward the west, but regardless of it developing or not, it will be producing a lot of heavy rains across sections of Central America. So Central America, especially from around Nicaragua northward, should be keeping watch on this system, as it has the potential to bring tropical storm-like conditions, even though it may not attain tropical storm status. Maybe within a day or two, conditions will be conducive enough to actually allow for the system to try to become something out there and briefly develop. I mean, the sea surface temperatures are very warm. Not only that, but there's just a lot of available energy to allow for development, or quick development. So let's see what it decides to do. But as we can see here on satellite, it is not looking the best, and it is just a big, massive, disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. As it relates to what models are expecting, interestingly, some of these models are still expecting maybe a strong tropical storm to become of this, but some of them are kind of no longer expecting that this will develop much over the coming days. But as I said, regardless, it is going to be bringing those impacts to Central America. Now let's move on to this latest updated map from the Climate Prediction Center. Now there you can see the forecast for week 2, which goes out from the 8th of November to the 14th, and then week 3, which goes out from the 15th to the 21st of November. So let us zoom in here. So these different shadings, they represent different things. So that green shading is representing that chance of above average rainfall. The darker darker that green shading is, the higher the rainfall chance. And then we're seeing those browns, which indicate below average rainfall activity within the time frame. So from the week of the 8th to the 14th, there could be below average rainfall for the Windward Islands, as well as portions of northern South America, sections of Colombia, Venezuela, and the Guyanas. In some of these areas, there could even be some higher than normal temperatures. And then as we look over into the Western Caribbean, headed toward the Eastern Pacific, we're seeing that red and white striped shading. So that is representing the possibility of development, a low chance that we could see something try to get itself together within this time frame here. And then as we look further out to the week of the 15th to the 21st, we're seeing yet again above average rainfall potential for some of the northern islands of the Caribbean, the southern tip of Florida, the Bahamas, going to Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Hispaniola, and in the South Caribbean or the Western Caribbean, we could see something also try to form within this time frame, seeing above average rainfall expected for the easternmost side of Guyana, going to Suriname and French Guiana, drier than normal conditions expected off the African coast. So that is the forecast, guys, and let's see if that'll actually pan out. Let's take it one day at a time. But again, as it relates to 97L, that formation chance has been on the decline, but it still has a shot at becoming a tropical cyclone before it eventually moves into Central America. So that is pretty much it for this update. That is what I wanted to share with you, and I hope you found this video to be quite informative. However, if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you once I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.